Welcome to another episode of On the Spot Painting, where I'm continuing on the lighthouse painting. I've done just a little bit more, if you notice, a little bit of more blue, but nothing major, a little more green. Last time we were here, I did a little bit of shadow, fixed this here, so we're moving on a little further on to the painting. Again, a lot of this stuff is, not stuff, I shouldn't call it stuff, but a lot of the what you got to do is important. It's just laying out the paints, the colors, where you want to go with it. So, sorry, I'm trying not to make sure it's not shaky for you. You know, you kind of get used to when you're painting, without nobody being videotaped or something. You don't really take into account those kind of things. You just paint. You just go at it. But when you're trying to do an instructional video, again, I want to thank you for anybody who just subscribed to the channel just recently. I appreciate it. I am highly encouraged every time somebody does, and it just does really encourage me that there's people watching and they want to look forward to this, what I'm doing, and hopefully I have many years of knowledge in what I'm doing, and I have it was through really different things happening, even this COVID thing, that really got me into deciding to do YouTube channel video. I had the ability to do it now, so I'm really enjoying it, and I'm really encouraged, and I feel like we're just gonna. I'm gonna grow. You can grow with me and watch me, whatever we do, and hopefully, it'll take off and you enjoy. But hopefully your inspiration will happen too. Hopefully you will be encouraged to paint. You will be inspired to. Because right now, some of you guys people have more time, to do things. Whether you're younger or older, art is, I really do feel like it's a therapy. It is something you can just really cope with things. Maybe you've had a loss in your life, or whether it's, a person or a pet or whatever it is, that's still very hard. And they become part of your family, so it's a good therapy to do, and just it's sort of a meditative kind of thing where you're just in your own little world painting. And okay, so really what you just see me do is when I'm just filling in the colors here, trying to fill in the blue, I work all around the whole the painting. So if you're just kind of like, where's he going? I find if you overwork a painting too much, you're gonna just you focus on that one area too long. You're gonna just overwork. There's a chance of overworking that area, and also the fact is you don't really get to see what your whole painting looks like. And I used to work more that way before, until I was brought to my attention. Maybe I should try to move around a little bit in my paintings and stuff like that. And I just really realized that I was really focusing on one area, and it was true. I really did, and and then it also helps you to know where you're going to go with your painting. Because you're really coming up with this picture, or if it's not from a photograph, then you have to allow it to. But it's neat to see it formed, It's like a lot of times it doesn't take like, I'm trying to say, it's like it doesn't take like 1,000 different strokes to get it looking something happening. Sometimes it's just a simple little line, simple little dark, that just gives that little and then it brings it, whatever you were trying to get, a little better. A lot of times you might go into it with an idea in your mind, but your picture may totally change. And if you're happy with it, if you're not, but sometimes we're not always going to be happy with our works. But I guarantee you one thing: if you're not very happy with your painting, I would tell you just to step back for a little bit. If it's half hour or whatever, or maybe come back the next day. See how you feel about it. Then I really find that there's times where I've been very frustrated with what I'm doing. I have to step away. Whether it's an hour or two, or I just come back the next day, and I find I really. Sorry, my fan's blowing on me, so it's causing my nose to be a little bit irritated. But it's kind of warm, so I really need the fan on. Yeah, so you come back to that painting and you'll see something in there that you didn't. You notice that you did something and you're like, wow, I did that. That was pretty neat. Or that whatever stroke you did, the paintbrush, the color you chose, and you're going to really like that. I pretty much guarantee it, for the most part. You're going to come back to it and you're going to really appreciate your work even more so. So give that a try if you're in the middle of a project right now, or maybe you're trying along this, what I'm doing. You will be surprised. I would hope so. I just found that to be true in my life, in my work. Because I really have gotten sometimes totally discouraged in my work. There's been times I almost felt like I was going to give up on the project, but you know what? I put it aside, and I came back to it next day or a couple hours later, and I was refreshed, and then I finished it. So there'd been a lot of pieces that would have been not done if I did not do that. So, and like I mentioned before, a lot of these projects are really, nobody commissioned me to do them. I just decided to do them. Then you might ask, why? Why did you do that? You didn't have to do that. Why did you do it? Well, because you can. I guess that's if somebody asked me that question, not that anybody really has, but I would say, well, because it needs to be made. It's in your mind, it's in your imagination. And if you're an artist, you will have that inspiration. And you will have that desire to want to create that. Sorry, my nose. You'll want to desire what you want to paint. Sorry, I'm just like repeating what I'm saying here. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of adding a little bit of like grass here. What it does is sort of gives you the textures here. See how the rock here? So what it looks like, what I'm trying to get, is you got a rock here, there, and then some grass. And you get that feeling of the depth from the hillside. I'm not going to actually draw it out, but you almost have that sense of like it's rolling here. You don't want it. Apologize on my nose. Okay. Alright. So, like I said, it's kind of fun just to add that little texture in the details. So we're gonna add a little more yellow here, yellow kind of brown. That's the sand. Again, I don't like to just use one. Like, I don't want to tell you, oh, use this color yellow or whatever. That's my little bit too bright. But we can soften it down with a little bit more water. I like to muddy the colors up a little bit, and I'm adding a little blue streaks in here. I think that was kind of cool. So you want to leave. It's cool if you leave it. You don't have. You don't have to, but leave a little bit of the lighter color. I think I touched on that last time. It's called negative painting. So it really gives a neat effect because it's really simplified what you're drawing. You're leaving this clouds. It's like you're painting it, but then you're not. It's really cool. I would love to just like work on a painting with that whole technique. To do that, it'd be kind of cool to see what we can come up with. Maybe one day we'll think about it. So, but I have used negative painting quite a bit in my paintings. You might notice if you go to my website. I may have told you this before, and I try to, on my descriptions, I try to make sure I put the my website on there. But so oops, here it goes. So it's Jeff Moser, www.jeffmoserweebly.com, and you go to my gallery, and I've done a lot of flowers and stuff like that, and arrangements. Those, I tell you, can be challenging because you're in the middle of you're drawing something, and the frustrating part is like, where do you put this leaf? Where do you put that? Unless your photograph kind of tells you it, it's very it's challenging. I tell you, that's one of those things you just got to figure out your own. And there's really no wrong or right way to go about it. You just have to do the best you can. And but what I want to encourage you is that you don't have to have anybody tell you what to do. You just become the artist. You pick up that pencil, you're in charge. You're sort of like the director, the producer, all the people involved in a movie or whatever you're making. You're creating this production here. This is your thing. And whether you're doing it for somebody or you're just doing it for yourself or you're doing it as a commission work, and I think it's a great honor if somebody decides to say, yeah, I want to hire you to do something, or can you do this for me? I like your work. It's an honor. I find it's like, wow, they really appreciate what you do. And it's like when you guys subscribe to my channel, or people subscribe to my channel, it's almost as if that same feeling, that you get, that somebody decided to take interest in what you're doing. So I'm bringing a little bit of the lighter colors, yellow, orange. Yellow. I'm going a little bit more tense than I thought I would go, but I like that. I'm really liking that because I'm trying to, this is the sand, but obviously I don't want to put the whole sand here. So I'm building up the landscape. So what I really want you to have that feeling eventually of this painting I want to have you do is like you have a sense like you're standing, you literally could be walking on this, try not to touch this part too much. I don't know I guess it could be kind of bad if you did that, but you want to like literally feel like you're walking on the sand there to get to this lighthouse. And you want to I want it to feel like it's, off in the distance slightly, but not too far away, not like way off in the distance, but just obviously like, maybe, I don't know how many feet it would be. I'm just kind of guessing. Yeah, it would just be, it'll be a little jot up there, trying to get up a hill, because obviously if you have a hill no matter where you go. A hillside is going to be pretty good little trek to go up. So whether you're at a park or you're at somewhere. You gotta love nature with the hills. There's so much out there, and just try to, when you're out there, just deserve. I mean, stepping outside, looking outside. I mean, you got so many resources to pull from as an artist. Oop, a little bit darker there than I wanted to. That's okay. I mean, you got your tree outside, or you got plants, or whatever, backyard or patio. Or just going out and driving somewhere and looking, or at a park, you'll notice, get inspiration from those things. Look at the way the sunlight hits across the sky, or on a plant or a tree. I did a little bit darker than I wanted there, but it's cool. I like it. Again, I hope you're enjoying these instructional videos. I haven't really put on those other ones with the video, the time lapse as much, because it's more involved, and it's not that I don't enjoy them. I really do. It's just. But once I get started on a project, I really do. I start really finishing it. I hope I do. I have been known to procrastinate sometimes. Anyway, see, I'm almost on the verge of overworking this area with the green, so I'm gonna just move away from it. Because I'm starting to I'm talking and I'm just kind of losing track of what I'm talking about. So what I'm trying to do is have enough variations between the sun, the light. You want to leave this light. I would encourage you to leave this light of this paper here, because that is what you feel that. But if you keep going over and over it, you'll lose what I wanted to put in there. So I want to keep that light. And then you have that sense of depth, and and believe it or not, it's not really that complicated to pull this off. It's just a little time. Some projects might be a little harder. I do agree. Whatever I'm drawing or painting, you're sitting, you're trying to figure out what you're looking at a photo, and you're like, how am I supposed to paint that? Yeah. But you'll get it. And it's just experimentation or practice, textures and details. But also, I think a sense of having. Sorry, talking out loud. I pulled a little bit too much. See, that's the thing. Right here, I'm pulling from the yellow, but then I was too close to the green. So I really wanted the lighter green, and I pulled the dark. So there we go. Well, that's okay. So hopefully it comes out in the visual here. We're probably ready to call this one done. It doesn't mean I'm done with the painting, it just means I'm done with this video. What I want to do, one little thing I like to do on these paintings, is I take a little bit of red, and I believe this is just regular red, not cadmium or anything like that. So I'll just go right on top of here, and then I could add some here, but then underneath I'll add a little green. So I mean, it's important to add the green because that's, you know, that's where your brush, you want to be careful. You don't want it to, that's where your bushes are. So, you know, that's where the, it could either be bougainvillea or the, maybe some roses or some other kind of, I'm not a flower person exactly. I mean, I paint them, but I should like study them, which I know which one I'm doing, but it gives it a little nice little, it's a nice little touch to the what you're doing. All right, well, join me again next time. And there you go. Well, thank you for joining me with On the Spot, and we're going to continue on later on. Later on. I didn't mean to say that, but anyway, we're going to be join me again for another episode of On the Spot. Thank you for joining me today. Have a good day.